you know, that mind frame where you're like, you got to start thinking bigger. Why is that so hard?
It's hard
to do.
It's funny because I talk about fear from so many different ways, but you know, there's like the fear of being successful. Right. There's the fear of like even all this, right? Yeah. Like I was at the podcast studio, so that like even like going through and like looking at this podcast, right? I started off doing it by myself, and you were talking about how I forgot how you worded it, but in the sense of having to shed stuff is
the orange or the yellow shirt.
This is still same show though. Yeah, we're not breaking yet. We'll because I want to wrap this one up and break it up. But I had a couple other questions, and this is some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yellow next, awesome.
It's like, don't you get up out that seat? Let's go.
But you talk about how things kind of progress, or you talk about giving up. Earlier, you're talking about like giving up because there's all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the phone rings, and you got this opportunity, right? And that was the same thing for me with this podcast. Like it had served a purpose. I started doing it not because I wanted to do a podcast, but because I knew I needed to create content like what we're doing, like the short clips, because I needed to get myself out there. I needed to share my story. I needed to create my brand, and in order to do that, like we have this resource with social media, and video is so powerful, and so I started doing this thing, and it got so overwhelming because I'm sitting, you know, you were the last time you were here, we were in my office with the GoPro.
Oh yes.
You know, so you missed the 3 years where I was at the podcast studio.
Yeah.
And so I was at a point coming down to the end of that, doing the podcast by myself with the GoPro, where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I've got like 9 episodes that I haven't edited. I've got all this, you know, it worked. I've got work coming in. I've got clients coming in. I'm too busy to do this stuff. And then I got a call from a guy that was like on my list of people that I would love to interview, and said, hey, I've been seeing you. Could I come on your podcast? I was like, well, I guess I'm doing another one. Yes. And so I did this next episode. In that same day that I did that episode, I had a meeting with the guy that started the podcast studio in Brighton. His name's Rob Johnson. And Rob pulls me in, and we started having a conversation. And I had seen the podcast studio go up right during COVID. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like somebody's got a podcast studio. That's really cool. Who's doing that? And so we're having this conversation. He was like, you know, why haven't you come here? And I was like, well, because I'm like, I'm doing this podcast for free, and yeah, it's my business, but I'm like, I don't really want to pay $1,000 a month to create a podcast, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this would be awesome, but like, you know, I just don't want to, I'm not looking to spend $1,000 a month on a video, on doing a podcast. Right. And he was like, listen, you've got something really special on. And he's like, and I see the level of people that you have coming on. He was like, I just want those people walking through my studio because I'm new and I want the exposure. Absolutely. He was like, what if I gave you the studio for free and I took care of you, and and then you just bring those guests in and recommend them to me. And I'm so like, wow. Yeah. Gift, right?
Yes.
I'm about to quit.
Yes. And I'm
like, I'll do one more.
Yeah.
I'll quit and one more. And then the guy's like, here, I'll do this for free for you. Right.
Oh my
And so he does this amazing thing for me. And I got the studio for free for like 2.5 years, right? Where he like gave me that. And I wouldn't tell anybody that. Yeah. We're now on the podcast, so people will hear it. But it's like, it was really, really cool. So I've got this, like, just a blessing of a guy, right?
Absolutely.
I've got this great relationship with him. Then I'm sitting here and I'm setting like, in order for me to go to the next level, I've got to have my own thing because I'm paying now at this point to come into the studio.
Yes.
And I can only have one a week. Yeah. And I've got all this content I need to create. I can't fly Sparkle in and be like, well, let's do a day of content at my studio and it costs me $2,000, right? Like that doesn't make any sense for anybody. And I'm doing this stuff that I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Kevin came to me and was like, hey, I want to do this thing. And I'm like, we can do that. I'm a problem solver. I love doing this. Like, this is fun, right? Let's do it. But I don't know if it's going to work. So I'm like charging him. He's paying me. And I'm like doing this stuff. And then one video hits 700,000 people. And we're like, all right, this is going. And it's like the stuff that has been in my head for years, the vision, like the vision that was in your head. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It works. I'm right. Like, I'm not like making this shit up. Yes, like, I'm not like full of shit.
Real.
Like, this stuff is working. I've got to do this thing. But then I tell this whole story because there's the fear of like, man, Rob went and did this thing for me. He gave me a free studio. Right. He like, we've got this great relationship. Like, I love coming in here and somebody taking care of me. If I go start my own thing, now I'm his competitor. You know, what does that do? Like, oh man, I can't disrupt the Apple card. I can't disrupt the card. I can't disrupt the community.
Here.
I'm comfortable here. And it's like that belief, right? That you got to shed in order to hell is meeting the person that you could have been.
Yes.
I can't hold myself back because I'm going to offend somebody else.
Exactly.
And then the thing is I just had a conversation with him over the weekend, and like, he's like, good, competition makes us all better.
Exactly.
From that standpoint, but I can't hold myself back because I'm going to offend somebody else, or because like I'm going to compete with somebody else. I've got to unleash the beast.
Right. And the thing is that, I understand how systemic things work. So I've always also, because I kind of came from corporate, I've always been a very methodical thinker. I see things like chess pieces, but I see structures. Let's put it that way. Like, I envision things through chess, right?
Yep.
Methodically. So for me, I had to get lost in that so that it would get rid of all the other racket. Because I believe in divine timing. And I believe that if something's not happening, if something wasn't happening for me, then it wasn't for me. It was for Jason, right? And I'm proud of that person for having it, because our biggest competitor is ourselves. And so no matter where Jason goes, or no matter where, the other guy goes or whatever, it's still you versus you.
Yep.
And I think that's the scariest part, is because we really, all we got to do is just go. But for some reason, I know in my head, I immediately am thinking like, okay, well, what about this? Or what if this happens? Or what are they doing over there? And that's where we set ourselves back. But you also talked a lot about going bigger.
Yep.
And having to shed. And I remember the first time I had to shed, and I had to leave, and I had to write a letter that said I wasn't coming back, and I had to springboard into the business, right? And now it's like the things that were somewhat comfortable for me when it came to, doing my weekly stuff, working with coaches weekly, doing classes weekly, and there's this reinvented routine that I've talked about for years, and all of a sudden, it's time to shed again. And everybody hates when that moment of shedding comes.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Because you know it's coming, so you kind of like try to go around it, and you're like, oh, now you want to talk about getting on the elephant. What are you doing, Sparkle? And, then you're looking over, and I'm having these conversations. I'm talking to Kayla, and Kayla's like, so you're just walking around the elephant, or are you going to go ahead and shed and take off? So it's that matter of saying, it's got to be done. Like, you got to get it done, or because it's going to start being uncomfortable anyway.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you get a place where you can just do this anytime.
Oh my God.
You got to just do it. There's no do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's inevitable. It is for you. And I say this a lot. Things don't happen to us. They happen for us. So when they happen for us, take it.
Well, and that's the thing. And it's that same path that you're on, where it's like all of a sudden the opportunities happen. I've been working with Kevin for about a year at that point, a little over a year, and things have been going successful with that. And then he's like, hey, I've got this space. Let's do it. And right away, it's like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then leaving, it's like, oh man, this is going to be uncomfortable change, right? Like, this is going to be, but stepping into it with that full excitement. And I was trying to describe to somebody the other day, it's like the vault, when you're clicking the combination and you hear the last click and everything aligned and the door opens. And that's where I feel I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Is like all those pieces that I've had where I've been helping people and just different, they've all now come together, and it's just so natural. And it's like that overnight success.
Yes.
It's like where everybody's reaching out to me and being like, let's do this thing. Oh, I see you're doing this. Hey, let's finally, like, it's now come together where it makes sense for everybody.
And it also makes sense for those that realize why you had to shed.
Yes.
Because you're thinking that it's an issue, but most people who are with you, that were with you, are rooting for you too, because they know that you need to shed.
Yep.
And those are great people, because they're willing to know, like,
that's exactly
if it's happening to her, it's for her.
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
Right? It'll happen to me. It's already happening to me in my worlds, right? So, like, this is the cool part about all of us being able, just be ready when it's your time.
Yep.
And if you're too busy worrying about everybody else's time, you won't be ready.
It'll pass you by.
And it's going to pass you right by.
Yep.
And then what's that? Hell is what we're
Is
saying?
meeting the person you could have been.
Meeting the person you could have been. That's what happens when we let things pass us by because we're worried about everything helping for everybody else but us.
Yep.
And so you just miss your opportunities.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's another thing, once again, the chaos piece. Pay attention to chaos while you're missing opportunities. I won't be. I'll probably be the one taking the opportunities.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be head on a swivel. Whenever I see something that's up in the air and everybody's in arms, I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be something I can grab down here. I go, oh, that's a nice card. Let me go ahead and take
Let me take that. Exactly.
It was a giveaway. All of you guys were over there. They had a giveaway over here.
Yes.
There's things that we need to pay attention to be mindful of where what's going on around us.
Because we're missing the opportunities.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is where, everybody's like, I don't know what's going to happen. I know what's happening right here. I'm about to get my job going, my work going, my money going, my time with my family going. That's what's happening right here. Anything else is hearsay is what it is. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's not affecting my business. It's not affecting my life right now. If it does, then I'll have to make moves when it does. But right now, opportunities are right here. There is nothing that any of us can't do. And one thing that's even better, it's a very neutral playing field right now.
Yep.
Nobody knows what is up or down. So at this point, you can grab up and down and get the same opportunity if you want. The revamping of systems is here.
Yep.
So if you think that it's going away anytime soon, we're rebuilding something, structures in our world right now, in the United States, I guess I would say, that leave when things break down and bust, it leaves open opportunity. If you only see that things are busting or broken or revamping or broken down, you're not seeing the big picture. The big picture is you in it and helping create to rebuild it. Mm. Most of us don't see that, and that's because that's the lens we have to work to see through. It's ours. So if things are breaking down, shoot, I'm going to be the person with the shovel at the infrastructure talking about, now, if you take it to the right, you go to the left, we're going to have a whole horizon. You know what I mean? I'm going to be in front of it.
Yep.
You bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be in front of it because I'm paying attention to what's happening to it. You ain't going to have me in the back trying to figure out what happened later. That's called getting left behind.
Yep.
So the point of the matter is stop paying attention to the distractions and focus on what is right here and at your hands. Everything is at all of our hands if we see it that way. And we got to be optimistic about it instead of pessimistic about the things that are happening or how horrible stuff could be. And just remember that everything happens for us, not to us. And it's telling us to wake up and be aware and see what opportunities are out there for us. And that's it. And if you don't take it, someone else will.
And that's exactly it. And you look at like you're going through this time where you got $297 to split, and it's so very easy to just give up and miss that phone call, not even answer that call, right? Like not even look at your mail to see the $4,000 check. Like you're just like down in despair, or not even look at the opportunities. There's so many people that get stuck in their despair that they miss the opportunities. And so we look at, I think that everybody has the chance to fulfill their purpose. It's all right there. Yep. You know, everybody's getting those opportunities and those knocks on the door. They're not answering. And even when they do answer, they're like, thank you for coming by. I'm all good. I'm not ready.
This is an opportunity? This is the thing. Don't even know. Slam the door in the face with the opportunity. Don't even have a clue.
Yeah.
Like there's so many ways that we can look at things, but it's also about being open-hearted and open-minded to see things differently.
Yep.
And being okay with learning. Not thinking we know everything. Because like as soon as you open the door and you're like, wait, that existed?
Yeah.
There's so many things now. I'm like, has that always been there? Are you kidding? I could just walk across the street and get that. I mean, so
right.
Good.
Oh my God.
And not only that, but they let you do it for free and they'll even make it like people just don't know. They don't pay attention. You get down on yourselves. And remember, negative self-talk is usually the worst for us, right? Be careful what you say. You're listening. And so as soon as you start saying there's no opportunity, there's nothing, this is what's going to happen, this is a failure, you get what you asked for.
Yep.
So instead, you say the next person who knocks on this door is going to ask me for a modeling career.
Yeah.
Next person who gets in here, they're going to build my business with me and take it to the next level.
Yep.
You have to do it. And it's easy. It's easy. I can't sit here and say that every day I say that. There's other days I'm like, it doesn't even matter anymore. I go back
Kayla
into
laughs
that.
like, she's there.
Even yesterday, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. She's like, you're getting ready to be on a podcast with your best friend and you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, fine, I'll just go to sleep. There's so many things that were going on. And you have those days,
Yeah.
you know, and you should because you're human. But you also have those days where you're ready to kick ass. And you'll probably have most of those days if you stay positive. And then the other days you'll have two because they're supposed to be there. But the good days, when those good days come, embrace the hell out of them, you know? And when the bad days come, embrace those too. Mm-hmm. Those are usually the days when opportunity hits, is when you think you're having the worst day.
Let's go back to COVID happens, right? And like, you know, outside of the sickness, like I was a small business serving small businesses. I had a client that I fired and they were my highest paying client, but it just wasn't a fit anymore. They didn't want to do any work. They wanted me to build their business. And like, literally, like they wanted to go like sit on their boat and drink mimosas while I was building their business. And I'm like, I'm not a consultant. Like I'm not here building. I don't care about your business from that standpoint. Like, you know, like I'm here to help. But like, anyway, so I fired this client because I had replaced that income with a bunch of individual clients that I was lit up by. And then COVID happens and like, out of 7 of those businesses, 5 of their businesses got shut down for COVID. So like they were shut down for a couple of months. And so like instantly I got calls like, hey, I'm gonna have to put a hold on that coaching. Hey, I'm gonna have to. I had 3 clients that stayed with me. Now, all 3 of those clients that stayed with me had their best years. Like COVID to 2020 was their best years. But then I was like in this down of like, oh man, like I'm a coach that serves small businesses and all these businesses just got shut down. What's going to happen to me? Like I'm going to starve.
Right.
And so I'm going through this pity party for a little bit.
Yes.
And then I realized, oh my God, I'm a coach. I'm a motivator. I'm an inspirer. I'm an empowerer for small businesses that are going through a time that's uncertain and they have no idea what's going to happen. I'm in demand. This is my time. And I may not make a lot of money right now, but it's my time to get my message out. It's my time to speak. It's my time to put my content out. It's my time to reach out and meet people. And then look at where we are 5 years later, going back to the very beginning. You know, it was that time where I'm meeting, and I don't do that on LinkedIn anymore.
Right. Which is the thing, is that you said, it's my time. And then it brings me back to my dad saying, it's time. The time is now. And I got it because the time was now. And this is the thing my dad would always say. You just keep building your company brick by brick. Just get in there and like your little mad scientist, you got your little boards and, you know, everybody doesn't know where the madness is coming from, but you do. And you just keep building and you just, you know, you touch every soul, every body, every human, and you just love them and make them feel great. And you know, I was so excited to do curriculum because I was like, I can feel myself in this. And I want you guys to feel this too. Just lose yourself in the journey. It's yours. And he's like, and brick by brick, it'll all start coming together. He said, mark my words, everything will be all right. Here we are. The time is now. And the thing is, it's like you said before, you know, for me, I was like, I don't really know what's going to happen with this 2020. But I remember in July, right before I met you, I think you remember there was the news had me on for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it had like 28,000 views. This is the first time I had ever spoke on news or anything about like my life or about recovery. And that was when I remember Kathy Plush was like, you need to speak. And that was when I really first started finding my voice. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to go on here and I'm going to talk about COVID and how we're opening up our lines. And that's when the newscaster said, but we want to dive deeper into you. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, what do you want to know? She said, You got a lot of time on your hands? I said, well, I mean, it's COVID. We might as well, we got to do, sure, I can sit here all day, you know?
Yeah.
And that was when it started. And that thing blew up. And I remember people calling the lines and trying to get help, and nobody knew what was going on. And remember, we were like 7 days a week at that nonprofit. And then I took off and decided to go off on my own. And man, I was scared, you know? And then all these people, it was like, you know, Dorothy trying to get to the Wizard of Oz, and she started meeting these people who were rolling with her. And before you know it, you know, it starts to just become you. And it's so crazy because I like how, you know, we kind of go back to that whole sobriety and entrepreneurship. It sounds like the same journey for me.
Yeah.
But I was going through both of them at the same time. But entrepreneurship feels like that. And in anything that we are growing in, if you are mastering your art, is going to feel like that.
Yep.
If you're doing it the way you should be, your back should be hurting. At least your back should be hurting for a little bit. Like, I built this, it's mine. Then the hardest part is when it's time to let it go. It's time to share it. That's the hard part. And I think for me, that's that part I keep telling you that's like, okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to share it. Nope. Okay, fine. The door. Nope. But inside I'm like, but what if they, and I'm like, well, of course they're going to mess it up. They're supposed to. So it's like, am I ready for them to mess it up? Do I want, and inside I'm like, of course I'm ready for it, because they're going to create something great off of it too. And then I'm like, but are you ready? But it's going so well. And then I'm like, and I'm so comfortable. Dang it. It's time to shed. And then I'm like, let's just all take a nap and act like we never had this conversation. So go again, inching. And then obviously I have a huge class of 45 and another class that's lining up of 45 or 50 in October. And I'm like, things don't happen to us. They happen for us, which means I need help. And the universe, my higher power, is like, there's nothing you can do about it. This is written for you, and you have to keep moving. And it doesn't matter if you don't want to. It's coming, and it's here. So what are you going to do? Right? And for me, I'm like, well, put an ad up. Here we go. And then I also go back to this. You know, you did used to, you know, run teams of people, Miss Lindsay. And you do realize that you're not just saying, here, take the business, and you're not going to be there. And you do realize that you trained and facilitated people and orientated people for a living. So what do you think you're doing? You're about to run your company, and you're about to help some people grow into beautiful facilitators, beautiful coaches. So yeah, why not you? This is what you're supposed to do.
Well, and think about the people that are fortunate enough to be able to come on and be a part of your team.
Yes.
You know, just the growth that they get from being along your side.
And the mission, because here's the thing, I've always been fulfilled. Here's the thing you forget about when you build something. You're like, but what made me fulfilled was when people got it, when that light came on. Because you're like, I got to build this and I got to do this. But you forget, like, it's always been so fulfilling for me to watch someone get it and it sticks, because then you know they're ready, right?
Yep.
Well, what would be any different? So that's why I had to keep laughing at myself, because I'm like, you find fulfillment in this, Miss Lindsay. You find fulfillment in helping people rise to the occasion by what they're great at. Did I not just say that? So what is any different? What you doing? And so those are the steps, those are the conversations I've been having with myself lately, because I'm like, you built it so you could do exactly what you've always done, but it's yours. And now people get to explore and do what they need to do in it as well.
Well, and it's funny because, again, I love the hindsight of time in being on this journey with you. And I remember when it was like getting 4 or 5 people was really hard. Yeah. And then you started self-funding scholarships. You're like, I got this idea. I'm going to give scholarships. I'm like, where's the scholarship money coming from? Like, I'm just taking the money off. Like, oh, okay, well, let's get it lifted off the ground. You know, like
I remember it. My mom, I was on the phone with her because I was like, I got one person in my class. Remember, you were like, well, it's one. I was like, plus, I was still kind of learning the curriculum too, because I thought, like, yeah, I could do it. And then I got to like ethics, and I was like, we need to take an hour break, everyone, so I can figure out.
You need to be 1 hour ahead of everybody else.
And then I just remember, I was like, okay, if I do, because remember, I still have the Being a Better Me for Me scholarship up there.
Yeah.
Right. And I take off half off and do all that stuff. And 675 has stuck for a while. And I've kept it there. Crazy part is that, it was 1350. It still is. But for the individual or someone who's trying to work hard and they're making payments, remember I have payment plans. I have all of that still, right? Yep. And then as I got going, there was all these other people who have been in the game for a long time, and they were receiving scholarships for this type of stuff all the time. And so I was like, man, I can't compete because everybody has to pay out of pocket for me. I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and give them the scholarship, but what I'm going to do is that I know this curriculum so well that when they come into that class, they're never going to want to leave. And I have worked in every class so hard to just be me and just raw and authentically be honest and transparent with them. And before you know it, people started talking. And people were like, well, I heard I'm supposed to go to you. So there's a full ride scholarship that I could get, but I'll pay out of pocket for you.
Mm. Wow.
And everybody kept saying, how is she staying above water? Like, I put in for scholarships or for grants and I wouldn't get them because I was such a small business. And all these people are just getting all this money and they're getting all these grants. And, last year, I think it was just in 1 year, 178 people went through me out of pocket. And they could have taken scholarships and they didn't want to leave me, and that was just in 1 year. I think this year we're at about 275 and we're in September. So altogether, 1,300, right? But which is good. It's great.
It all started with that one. And I was like, good, you got one.
Yeah, that one person. Then there was 2 people, and then there was 3, and then I was like, got a class of 7, but it was like every time I was speaking, they were feeling it, and then they go, you got to go to Sparkle, and they're like, but then I got to pay, and they're like, but you're gonna want to pay for this, and so, there were people who would say, you can go get the scholarship, you free is free, you can go get that, or you can go invest in yourself. Because Chris Burns said this. He goes, I remember there was a post I looked at when you were in 2020 and you had an entrepreneur coach that you signed and said you made the biggest investment in yourself. He said, and that stuck with me when you started your classes because you allowed them to have payment plans, but they made the biggest investment in themselves they could ever make. Mm. And that's what I remembered. So lo and behold, I'm thinking everything's, I'm just keeping my little payment program going and I'm starting to get some people and I'm like, it's really getting busy. This was probably about 2 years ago and New Jersey finds me. And he said, I don't know how I found you. I was looking up some stuff that had to do with Sparkle and I knew I needed a recovery coaching facilitator and your name popped up. He said, and I called you and I want to have you deal with all 5 of our counties in New Jersey. I'll never forget that one. I still talk with them, Blessed Ministries. They're beautiful people. Got Jersey people out there that I love dearly and went through the program. And then, I jumped into a lot of other people who said, hey, we have a few grants we'd like to go for. Can we put your name on them? And I was like, what? And they're like, you never had any grants? I'm like, no, everything I've built has been organically off of people paying out of pocket. They're like, you have ran a business with no funding, nothing for it. I said, I don't ever get any of it. So people started putting me on their grants to become, and then Behavioral Health Administration says Sparkle's the one you want to keep. And then COPA came, and then I became statewide trainer and now a national facilitator. And then from there, CCAR uses me for a lot of different things as one of their major RCPFs, as someone who really supports the curriculum. And then I ran into Dr. Callie Estes, and I have her curriculum. And all together, created Sparkle LLC, Phoenix Rising Recovery Coach Academy, which is a university for coaches. And I have 18 curriculum. And then I started saying, well, their curriculum is beautiful and I really enjoy it. But in the midst of that, I've been creating my own, which is the Legs to Your Table series. So it's just been wild, the transition. But I never gave up. And even some days I didn't get paid. Some days people didn't make their payments. I mean, there was so much, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna be broke trying to do all these classes. And I was like, how am I gonna pay for these books? And then, at the meantime, that $297 to share with Scott Mosier.
Yeah.
Well, Scott Mosier now has 15 homes. He now has Purple Mountain Recovery. I'm now his master trainer, and he has 48 employees. So together, we've become quite a powerhouse. So he always says it. You want to eat some ramen noodles just for fun? We were sharing ramen noodles. Kayla was like, yeah, I'll have some steak. Suffice. That'll suffice. I'm not eating ramen. But together, me and him both were like, look at where we're at. And that's how I ended up at the Recovery Out Loud for Purple Mountain. And most of his employees went through my program, and he went through my program. So he completely believes in Sparkle. I believe in Purple Mountain. And then Love and Beyond Understanding came up, which is in Grand Junction. They took 58 people through the program last year. And they have a wonderful program happening in Grand Junction as well. So it's been really cool. And now here we go again, all Colorado. And then, look into, obviously I've been expanding to some different states and just really creating this platform for my university, and the crazy part is, Jason, is when you start evolving into the person you were and then who you're choosing to be. I also see, my platform, which is, Sparkle LLC, the Coach's Corner. It is evolving as well. So a lot of the stuff on the platform now involves curriculum, it involves the classes, things like that people can jump into. But it also is shifting a bit. Life coaching, spiritual coaching, right? Because that part is the part I've been evolving into as I've been building and getting into recovery. My body is evolving into life. Yep. And so it's like building, this brand of recovery all the way up into this beautiful butterfly of new things where we can own our own development, have our own companies and become entrepreneurs or whatever it is, or CEOs of companies or whatever that may be. So it's like, a lifetime fitness for coaches to call home. So it's been a really cool journey, and I see it, I envision it, and I'm observing the manifestation, and it's going to happen. It's happening.
It's beautiful.
It's happening.
I remember this is probably a little over a year ago now, and you're calling me up and you're like, Jason, I'm growing and I'm I'm expanding, and I feel like I needed to move to another level. And then you're brainstorming, and you're and then you started going down this path of maybe I can teach DUI classes or something. I was like, record skipped. I was and I just sat there and I said nothing. And I just let you talk. And you talked for 5 minutes, trying to sell me on why you could do these things.
Because you get real quiet.
I get real quiet. I'm not going to agree or disagree. I'm just going to listen. Because I knew at one point you're going to hear yourself. Because you're telling me you need to expand beyond this this piece. And then you're going back to the ABCs of where you're at. You're going even further deeper. And you're did this whole 5-minute thing. And then
on the line, did he?
But then you're and then you sensed that I wasn't there, and you're are you there? What do you think? And I'm I don't know, how'd that feel? And you're horrible. And I'm okay, so there we are.
I can't do that. I can't. On the phone, like, get myself down. I can't do that. It doesn't even sound like what I'm even doing. Like, that doesn't even, and you're like, yep. And I was like, what are you even talking about? I'm here talking about writing books and being on stage, and then over here, and you're like, doing exactly that. I knew you were on the phone. So I
See me shaking my head
like, thank you, God. You know, could you please, for the love of Pete, just get on stage and do your books, Miss Lindsay?
Yes.
And I remember you saying it. You said, but remember, like when you, this is exactly how you do it. Well, so I see what you're saying and I get it and it's really good. But, you know, what I remember you telling me that you really want, you know, to speak your books on stage, right? And I was like, yeah, that's what I was saying. And I was like, what am I talking about? It was like the whole Medicaid thing all over again, right? It was like running from this destiny.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for us to, because remember I told you, I was like, I think I just had an emotional return to use where my mind started getting in the way, the thoughts started getting in the way of the things that really I want to do. And it's so easy for it to take us away. So then it gets quiet on the other line. And then I had to sit there with myself and say, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And that was it. That was it. The rest was history. I said, okay, cool. We got off the phone. I started making the books. I'm like, I know it's going to take some time. We're going to keep building this, you know, the following of people to go through the classes so we can sustain this income. And then we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. And so we're right in the middle of all this curriculum happening and the classes blowing up and speaking. And I'm like, we in it. We in it, and I'm gonna speak it, you know. And I believe in those in the books I write and the books that I, you know, they're me. So we turn them into curriculum, and we'll have our own set of stuff to do in our own university, and hopefully get some continued education to go with it, and I'll have what I need, you know.
Well, and it's really cool, and this is something that this is the question that I had for you going back. I'm like, let's pop the battery in for a few minutes, and then I'll ask you another question. But when I first met you, you know, you were telling me about the do you have the legs to your table? You were talking about the building a better me for me.
Yes.
You were telling me about these programs and these ideas, these visions that you had, and then you were telling me about how the organization that you're working for was having you build out your programs for them.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh shit. I don't know these people in this program, but I don't, you know, I feel like you're going to build this thing out and it's your vision, your life, your labor of love, like everything and you're going to build it out for this program. And they're going to be like, thanks. Well, and even if like you stuck around, it's their program.
It's theirs.
And then you leave and it's like their program, you know, and
talk about divine timing, because that was when I was going to write Being a Better Me for Me. And it originally was going to be Being a Better You for You. Mm-hmm. And I remember being asked to create a group around it. And I had all of these things and I was making a pamphlet because I was like, man, all these coaches they're asking me the same questions. So if I could just make a pamphlet for them, it'd be great. And all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, wait a minute, I think this is a book.
A little pamphlet turned into several pages.
To thinking, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a clause that says anything I make won't be mine. And so I held off, I stopped it, you know, and I did my due diligence of leaving, you know, the company. And they said, well, we get what you were making. They said, they get that. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then I went on ahead and probably about 3 months later, June of 2021, I released Being a Better Me for Me. And then 3 months later, I released the Being a Better Me for Me workbook, which is the only book that has actually been out there and it's doing well. And it's involved in a lot of different seminars and things like that and stuff. And then that's when all the time I was kind of really putting together the legs to your table. and asking, do you have the legs to your table? And then I kept changing it because I kept evolving. And then I really wanted to see how these legs to the table would take me in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, right? Because I was like, anybody could use this. And that's when I had to kind of just take a step back from it and really realize how I wanted to write it. And so it seems to be, out of the entire series, the longest written book, it feels like, but it's not that long, but the longest one to come out. And I think a lot of it is because I'm evolving, and
absolutely.
I'm now noticing it works everywhere.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my God, it works here, it works there, and it's here. And, trademarking, we have all that stuff together and it's good. But the big piece is like, now it's okay to go ahead and put it out I want to put it out as a workbook, and then obviously there'll be a Being a Better Me for Me book as well that kind of talks more about my life, those types of things. But the big part was the series. So we came up with the Legs to Your Table series. I'm going to re-update Being a Better Me for Me. We also have backpacks to briefcases. So this is where people learn how to do an LLC. They learn what type of insurance they have to hold as coaches or whatever that may be, or practitioners. We go through all of that. And then we also have the Power of the Peer Coach. Self-care is the best care, level up, which would be in schools and companies and everywhere. And then we have Do You Have the Legs to Your Table? So, and the Recovery Coaches Playbook. So with all of those things, we have that, and then we'll be continuing some other stuff to go into that for curriculum. So my mind was more so in the thoughts of, we have all of this curriculum for people to get started and get their certifications and stuff, but there's nothing to help them practice their art after. Not only that, but most coaches, they're getting burnout after 2 years and they end up dead. That's usually, they end up dead or they end up back out in the streets because there's nothing left to help them master their art. And I don't want that. So that's what happens when you have a university. People go back to learn more, and they go back to develop more and to be in classes that help keep them aligned. And that's what I'm creating, and that's what's been going on. That's what the trademark for the Coach's Corner is there for, so that it doesn't matter if you're not learning something. Come hang out with us anyway. What's mine's is yours. My family's your family. And I just don't think we have a lot of that these days. But we do here. We do here at Sparkle LLC,
And that's really looking at it. It's like through your lived experiences, and I think that's where the most powerful stuff comes from. Because again, your life experiences that have prepared you and put you in the position to make the impact that you're making today. That's why when I say like 8 years ago you weren't ready, you had to go through the whole entire process, right? But then you put it together and see that impact is incredible.
And the fact that all of this creativity has came out of it.
Yes.
And all of this hard work is why the creativity has happened. The breaking through to yourself is like, you are the secret. And so everybody's seeking and searching to find the secret. And then you go within and you're like, holy moly, it's me. This whole time? No, it's been me.
Well, and we talked about the oxygen mask or taking care of yourself first, but you're talking about specifically, okay, we can certify people. We can give them a certification. They can go out, they can be recovery coaches, or they can coach anybody. They can be caregivers. They can be therapists. They can be, but what they're not prepared for is that every day they're doing a job where they're sitting with people. In the lowest of lows, or you lose somebody, right? And then how do you process that? The certification isn't going to get you through that.
Because here's the thing: everybody likes to make money. Okay, so let's just be honest. Okay, and everything I say is honest and real, and it is. Okay, the industry of people being unwell is brutal. It's not a money game. People's lives is not a money game to me. My life when I was unwell, and I'm still trying to heal, and we all are, it's not fun to be a part of somebody's pockets. It's not. And it's also not fun to play with people's wellness. Okay. And I'm not here to say that I'm somebody who wants to go and give away something I don't have. I'm hypocritical when I do that. And I'm also not someone that wants to bring a whole bunch of people who are not well or don't have the tools to stay well into a business and then think that they're going to succeed. I can't make that make sense. Okay. And the reason why I can't is because in my heart, there has to be a place for anybody who is caregiving or helping or being the helper or whatever to have a place to unwind and realize that you are important. You are just as important as anybody else you are helping. And everybody can see that. And so anybody who is creating a business that is not helping the helper too, why aren't you? Why aren't you? Okay, it's like treating people like a piece of meat. I mean, a prime example, the NFL. These players, these people, my brother, NFL, he aspired to be what 1% of the population of the world get to be. He always wanted to be that. We all did. And he made it. But it's a dirty dog world in there. And people are being ran through like pieces of meat. Well, it's the same exact thing in corporate. It's the same exact thing even in the wellness industry, even in the mental health and addiction industry. Stop treating people like meat. We're people. We're humans. Listen to people. Help them grow. And when you have people who are willing to walk with people in these deep, dark depths of a cave and helping to pull them out, you have to have something that pulls them out too. I will not create anything that does not help the people who are helping, because we have therapists and psychiatrists that are being burnt out. They need help too. And no matter what, there's people willing to go that extra mile for people that they don't even know. We have to go that extra mile for the leader, for the healer, for the main coach, or for the facilitator, or whatever that is. We have to go the extra mile for each other. And just because you are in a higher role or whatever that is, that's neither here nor there if you're not happy from within and you're not taking care of yourself. You can help millions of people in this industry and in this life. But I've seen people who are sitting right in the same role as me and they're dead today because they weren't able to tell everybody that they needed help like they've been telling everybody else to do. So if we're going to do this, do it right. If we're going to be honest with ourselves about how we are helping people, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, does everybody in your company deserve the help? Because we all should. And we all should be okay with saying, I need help and not feeling scrutinized because of it. That's not happening over here. And I don't care. And I think I've said this before. I don't care if you're with a different company, whether you're a recovery coach at a different company or you're a CEO at a different company. Here, you will be treated with respect. Here, you will take care of yourself just like the rest of us do. Here, you will take off time when you need to. We have to do that. And no, does it seem like it would make money or not make money? That's not even what I'm looking at. I know that people who are happy, they're going to bring in whatever needs to be brought in because they're happy, because they have time, and because they're cared about. So in this, for me, this is why I felt the need to build this university. It's because I'm not looking for someone to get me rich quick. I'm not looking for any of that. I'm looking for a place where people can have some sanity and love and understanding, and they can come and laugh and just enjoy each other and leave all the other stuff behind. And that's not a world that's unrealistic. That's a world we can create anytime we want. And I feel like we get stuck in this, got to make money, got to do this, we forget the whole reason we're doing it. I want to be a doctor, but I want to make a lot of money. Well, you're going to make a lot of money anyway because you're saving people's lives.
Yep.
If you're not here, somebody
the more
doesn't
impact
make
we
it.
make.
Yeah. So where's the impact in that? The impact is saying, let's build it. They will come. Let's create it. Let's have fun and let's move along. That's what it's about. And that's the only thing I know about it because that's the only thing that makes me feel good in my heart. And so I say this to everybody in the world. I know that there's a lot of struggles that are going on. I know we have a lot of things that are happening. A lot of people who are sick, a lot of people who are ill, a lot of people who need, but don't give up hope. Create hope to define your light and get your legs to the table. That's what I say. And if you need help doing it, then come here so we can help you do that. And then when you walk out with those fresh set of legs and the things that you need by creating your hope, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. But there's a place where we have to be able to hold space for people to do it. And if everywhere you go, you feel like a piece of meat or like you're some money or you're someone that can make money off of whoever, and you know everybody has an agenda,
Yep.
then we don't get the legs to our table and we don't have hope. We don't. So I say, and I, like I said before, I say this because people's wellness, it makes me sad. People's mental health, when they can't get help, makes me sad. People who are addicted, who are running from themselves in this maze of withdrawal and guilt and shame, and there's no one helping them, just advancing off of their backs because they're sick. Come on. So do it right, or don't do it at all. And let the ones who want to do it right, let them do it. That's it. I'm one that's going to do it, and I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it with my head held high, and I'm going to do it stepping into my power and knowing that I'm doing the right thing through value and standards and giving a damn. How about that? All we got to do is be kind.
And this is exactly why I cherish and am grateful for the moments that I've been able to walk in this journey with you. Because it's again, you're a difference maker. You're out there, and you're so powerful and impactful. And you're not afraid to put your voice out there.
No,
You've stepped into it.
You got to. Being the voice of the voiceless is everything right now. And I know we can only take it one step at a time, one person at a time. But there's a lot of people out there at a time. And the difference is that if we can speak to one another and teach people how to treat us, they'll always remember it. But do you know how to treat you? And I think that's a big piece to what I'm saying here. I refuse to sit here and watch people just use people to get what they want. And we know that life is going to happen. Life be life and things go on. But that doesn't mean we have to be a part of it. We can be and do the right thing. And we can also acknowledge what people have to say and accept it. We don't have to believe in it, but we can accept it. But we also can unify together if we're all doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. And we're doing the right thing for the common good of the right people, all the right people. Everybody is the right person. Whether you're sick or not, you are the right person. And that's where hope comes in. And so that's the only thing I know. That's the only language I speak. Is positivity and understanding that all we have is each other. And if we're trying to jump off each other's backs to get something else that someone else got, what are we doing? Walk with your people. Stand strong with your people. Hold hands with the people that you're serving and the people serving you. And the rest will work out.
This has been phenomenal. This is awesome. I love it. Like, we come in the studio, it's like it'd be a full day of content. Like, we make it through, and it's like we just did like almost a 3-hour episode of Coffee and Grit. We had an hour, and before that, for the people that don't know, and then there's still so many more things. There's still so many. This has been absolutely phenomenal, and it's surreal for me as I'm sitting here, and it's like we've had so many conversations on the screen. I'm like. You're there.
It's for real.
It's for real. It's for real.
When we get done, we can get up and give each other a real hug instead of the little virtual hug.
Exactly.
It's crazy because, you really, that once again, it's connection. It's connection. We're so connected to one another, and we're so similar, so different, so beautifully unique.
Well, and even going back, and to keep extending the episode, when the first time we met in person, when you came here, 4 years ago, and I picked you up at the airport, and it was one of those things, we've built this relationship online. What's it going to be like when we meet each other? It's like, boom, just like it is online. It's like, it's like we've known each other forever.
Yes. And then, I also see now when I go back there was also this ability. Oh man, this is where like having the legs to your table and realigning with yourself and having your people realign you, right? Because when you're in business, if you're not well and you're in business, don't forget, you attract what you are. So if you're not working that and then you're hiring people who are not well like yourself, what is going on with that business now?
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy how we can take each scenario and drop it into something else and say it still stems with you taking care of you.
Yes.
Isn't that, and I remember having a few people that were with me at that time. They're no longer there with me anymore. You
I remember it quickly
saying?
unfolding. Yes,
like
yes.
very quick.
Yeah.
It was literally like, and I knew it. If for me, it was the positive vibes. It was me. I was constantly growing and healing, but the people I was attracting at the time, they were not healing and growing. So they just dismiss themselves.
Yep.
It's crazy. And this is where that people come into your lives like seasons is real. Because if you are gaining every season, getting better and better, and you're feeling better and better, that doesn't always mean the person next to you is getting better and better.
Yes.
And if
absolutely,
oftentimes it can start feeling like you're dragging them to keep up with you. This is like working for companies too. When all of a sudden you become a person who's enabling a company and you're dragging it on your back, it's no different. That means you're not well. You know, you got to do some more work to figure out, why am I carrying everybody on my back like I'm the savior, right? We talked about it.
Yep.
So every element of what we talked about early in my life, I've seen in different scenarios of my life. But now I'm able to see it and say, oh, no, that's fixer syndrome there. That ain't even mine. I can see it now. But why? Because of those experiences. Mm-hmm. And 8 years ago, I would not be here, right? That it's what I have now from those experiences I had to say, ooh, I know what it is. If it looks like a duck and it sounds like a duck and it quacks, well, that's a duck, right? But before it was like, I think it's a poodle and you can come hang out with me.
It's actually an alligator. So
it's very interesting, these lights that come on for you that start to say like, whoa, I am seeing things clearly, you know, and a lot of that too is getting rid of all the stuff that blurs our mind, or the things we're supposed to eat or medicines we're supposed to take that dull our sparkle. And it fogs our lens up so that we don't see things through our lens. We see it through whatever element is fogging it up. So I say, if you're using drugs or alcohol, or if you're overusing medicine, or if you're even using medicine that has you foggy brained, you might not be seeing things as clear as you think. And I can say by experience, when all of that left, the real shit hit. And you cannot unsee it once you've seen it. You can't unsee it once you've seen it. But when you haven't and you don't know, it's very eye-opening, you know, and it's okay to see those things as you get better, because you're able to deal with them and you're ready to receive them. You know.
Powerful. Well, I am blessed that I've been able to walk through so many seasons with you, and I was not a coming going. It's been phenomenal. And this has been phenomenal. Looking forward to the rest of the day.
Thanks so much. Look forward to tonight.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right. Quick bathroom break.
Yes.